Welcome to Sisterhood Sharing Sessions, Inc., a women's learning and empowerment social network comprised of women committed to empowering all women through sharing knowledge from life lessons learned, and known as Sisterhood Share Club contributors. Sisterhood Share Club contributor Connie Green-Johnson offers her special lesson for women of color and their relationships with men of color.
Today, I want to talk about relationships between a man and a woman. And I'm even going to go a little further in that conversation in that I'm going to talk about relationships with women and men of color, because it is a different animal. And why is it? Well, number one, men of color aren't valued in our society as their counterparts or the other ethnic groups. And so I didn't know that. I didn't know that when I was out, when I was young dating. When I was in high school, there wasn't a soul that I wanted to date. So I didn't date. So I didn't have that kind of experience. But when I went to college, I dated one guy and I kept demanding certain behaviors. And he kind of took it a different way. We later became friends, and I realized that what I was saying to him was what I needed, but I didn't know how to make him feel like he was a man when I was giving my request as how I wanted to be treated. He later died, but we ended up really becoming very good friends, and I kind of walked him through dating and getting married. And I'll talk about that too, because I have several girlfriends, friends that I've known for 30 years. They find it very odd that even if I date and I stop dating them, they're still very good friends of mine. And I've always said the reason for that is that they would not be in my life if I didn't like them. It just didn't work out to a point of marriage or in a personal relationship. So on this topic today, let Connie talk about, because it works for me, but also it's been a lesson learned on my journey. Part of living is a classroom. You learn, and you learn from the bad and the good. And I've been married 3 times. I married my first love. I met him when I had just finished college. And I knew when I met him, I was going to marry him. I told my godmother's mother, Mom Polly, I said, I'm going to marry him. She said, you don't know him. I said, no, but I can't even breathe when I'm around him. So that was a no, number one, okay? Because I lost my whole reasoning in dealing with him. But nevertheless, we got married, and I still didn't have an experience in dealing with a man, because my mother didn't have that conversation with me, and my godmother sort of, and her take on it was try to get as much as you can for them, and that didn't work for me because I didn't want anyone to try to get as much as they can for me. So why would I want that from someone else for me? So I got married, and even today, that is the love of my life, and I would probably never stop loving him. We didn't stay married only 3 years because I knew that it wasn't working and it would not work. Number one, I felt inadequate, and he thought that he should date as many women as possible, and I wasn't having that. So I decided that it was better for me to let him go. But I didn't want something from him, and I have probably one of the best gifts I could ever have. That's my oldest daughter. And wow. It's okay. Oh. She's the best part of that relationship. And I just saw him at my oldest daughter's college graduation. And he constantly says, she is the best of us. And what a great compliment. And so, but that marriage and that relationship taught me a lot about me, my shortcomings, my inadequacies, and what have you. But I did say that I'll probably never, ever love anyone as much. And I don't want to, because I still like that feeling. So, second marriage was because I like bright men. And I met this real intelligent man, and I knew he was going to do well, and we would do well together. And we did. Well, about 13 years. And we also have a marvelous daughter out of that union, and she's doing well. But probably there wasn't enough love on my part. And so as a result of that, he found love someplace else. And I just don't believe in sharing. And I'm not a selfish person, but there's certain things I just don't share. And so that was one. And so we got a divorce. And we're still good friends. To the point where next week, my car, Mary is trying to tell me she needs to die. And so he said, my second husband, said to my daughter, he said, your mother needs to buy another car. She's having a lot of problems. He said, tell her to come up and get my car. Now, his car has less than 10,000 miles on it, and he knows I only like a Mercedes, so I'm going up to pick up his car. And so what better relationship could you have if you've been married, you're divorced, and it wasn't pretty, and some of it was not pretty, and some was good. But at the end of the day, we still care enough about each other that I call to see how he's doing because his health's not good. And he says to our daughter, tell your mother come get my Mercedes. How good can it get? So, and then I remarried again for the third time. I guess that's probably the jewel of the relationship, because all I had to say is I want, and he would say when, what, and never said no. But we were married for 12 years, and he transitioned into a higher power. He died. But every month I say thank you, Charles, because that gentleman, who was a very private man about money, chose to take 10% of his pension, and he left me 80%. How great is that? So every month I say thank you, Charles. And we got to travel extensively. I can't even remember all the countries we went to, but it was 12 years of just wonderful, wonderful journey of two people that mutually respected and loved one another. And so I don't know. I've talked about these on the surface of these three relationships. But what is my takeaway? My takeaway with relationships with men of color, you really got to stroke them. I don't care if they are a garbage driver, a garbage man, if they're a PhD. You have got to learn as a woman to make them feel like they are the best thing since sliced bread. I didn't know that. My mother didn't tell me that. And so, can we do that? It's hard for women of color to do that, because we are taught that we have to survive, and we have to be the strong one, and we have to do this. And so it takes away some of that femininity of who we are as women, because we feel like we gotta take care of everybody. We have to nurture everybody. Well, sometimes it's good just to say, I can't. That's okay. You can give yourself permission. It's been very difficult for me to do that. But I tell you, that third marriage, I said it a whole lot, because another lady, again, from a different ethnic group, said, Connie, you're too strong of a lady, too strong of a woman. You've got to let somebody want to take care of you, but they won't want to take care of you if you can solve all the problems. Who would want that? And so I listened. I listened finally. And I got married when I was in my late 40s to the third marriage. But he couldn't do enough for Connie because I couldn't do a whole lot. And I used to have to laugh, and I used to bite my tongue to the point where I thought I was going to hemorrhage because I said, well, I can do that. Well, he enjoyed that. So when I started this conversation, I said, we as women of color, it's a different kind of ball game with women of color and men of color in relationship. Because we wonder, why are they leaving, going to other ethnic groups? You know why? Because we are the survivors. We can do this, we can do that. And that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for a very soft lady they can cuddle up on a sofa. If the dishes are in the sink, let them be in the sink. If the house needs to be cleaned, if the kids, set aside some time for just the two of you. And you got to stroke his ego and make him feel like, no matter what he does, that he's the greatest thing. And so I say that to anyone, so that's with a marriage and relationship. But I've been a widower since 1999, and I don't have a problem finding other folk that I can spend time with. I have lots and lots of friends. I'm part of a sorority, I'm part of a lot of groups, but I don't always want to be with women. I want to be with that opposite sex. I need to have a conversation with them because it's a different conversation altogether. And so how does that happen when we keep hearing in the media and what have you that it's hard for black women to find a mate? Well, number one, I don't believe that. I don't have a problem. How do you find them? Sometimes you start a conversation at a grocery store, and I start a conversation. I even flirt in a group. What's wrong with that? I'm always in Lowe's, good place to find men, because that's where they're always buying stuff. So I've met two men since I've been in Charlotte, in Lowe's, okay? And then I've even I had played a little bit online only because of curiosity, and I felt a little uncomfortable, but I've met several interesting men. I had probably one of the best short-lived love affairs during a holiday. I met a gentleman, and it's funny, we had met each other like 30 years ago, but he was online and I was online, and he decided he wanted to come in to see, I'm sure, what I looked like after 35 years. And we had the best Christmas with my daughter. And I told my daughter, it probably won't last long, but I'm having fun. And then I went to Nashville because he was a real prominent musician. And he had a couple gigs in Nashville, and I just kind of hung out until after New Year's. That lasted for about 4 months. It was fantastic. I mean, I had a good time. We competed because at that time, I had just finished wrapping up running for elected office that I didn't win. But I had said that when I finished that, I would take some classes in music and learn how to play the piano or start to learn again. So we were competing. One time he came to visit, and he practiced all the time, and I had a loft, so I told him to go upstairs and practice, and I was downstairs, and he thought he should be downstairs. So I knew that wasn't going to last, so I said, this is my home, and you should probably go to your home where you can choose to practice any place you want. So I gave him a big hug, and we're friends today. He is married finally because he wanted to be married, and at that time, I knew he wasn't who I wanted to marry, but I liked his energy. I liked his music and the excitement of being around him. And so, why am I saying that? I'm saying that because sometimes we shortchange ourselves. He was short. I don't like short men. But again, as I said, I like the excitement that he generated. So why wouldn't I? Why would I not still date him because he was short? Because I like all the other fun. And so some people will say, well, I don't like a man because he's short or he's fat or he's dark. He's what? He's a man. And if if you can't, I always think that even if it won't work for he and I, he must have some friends or some brothers or something. So, you don't close yourself up. I just said that to a friend of mine. I said, because he's got a little weight, so either you can, and I said, because you need to lose weight too. So make it, an effort where both of you all are going to lose weight or meet some of his other friends that are smaller than him. But just don't cut it off. You have no idea what is ahead of you. So I will try just about anything as long as it's legal. As I said, online, at my age, I laugh at myself because when I tell some of my young friends that I play and deal with online stuff, they say, you do? I don't feel comfortable. And I say to myself, oh, well, they don't know what they're missing, And it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world if you go to a bar. And I've never been in the bar scene. In my hometown, we didn't even have I don't even think we had a bar. So, I'm not used to that. And when I went to school in Philadelphia, I was busy in school, so I didn't go to, bars. So my rationale or my analogy of this is that when you meet anyone anywhere, it's like interviewing for a job. They put their best foot forward, you put your best foot forward. And if it works, it's okay. And you don't know whether they're lying online, or you don't know whether they're lying in church, or whether they're lying in the grocery store. All you know is you met this person. And if you talk to them long enough, you will find out who they are. Now, do you open yourself up wide for them at first? No. Do you meet them at other places like a restaurant? Yeah, because you got to let them know that, I treat myself well, so I want to go to this restaurant. I always pick the most expensive restaurant to go to. And if they have a problem with it, you know that you need to move past him. So, or a movie. Maybe they don't like movies. I like football. I can look at football. Now I don't look at, when I first meet them, I don't invite them to my home to look at football. We go to, a restaurant that have all those million screens, and we sit there and talk about football. Or I talk about basketball. My favorite's basketball. So I said sometimes, as I said, meeting someone is like having an interview. You read up on things. If you don't know anything about basketball, and he does, then learn about basketball. If it's football, if it's golf. I mean, I've got one of the best set of golf clubs and shoes and everything. That's a great way to meet men. Let's see, about 4 years ago, I dressed myself up and went over to Quail Hollow because Tiger Woods, that's been several years, was playing. Went there by myself. My girlfriend, she goes, why not? And had several offers, walked out with about 4 telephone numbers, okay? So you've got to really put yourself out there. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, hey, I know you're looking for someone. You got to go out there and let someone know that and you don't have to be that desperate. I'm not saying be desperate. I'm just saying be approachable. Be approachable. And no, you get rejections. You get rejections when you go for a job. So what? The world doesn't come to an end. They say, oh, no, thank you. You move on and go for the next interview. Okay, the next man. So I am going, I am just made some plans to go up and meet a gentleman halfway. He's from Ohio, and I'm here in North Carolina. We've been talking for a year. I was busy with my mother and busy with other things, but I enjoy talking to him. We text, we talk on the phone and what have you. He does a lot of traveling, and we're going to meet in the next 2 weeks, halfway. And I'm looking forward to that. Now, I was saying to one of my good friends, she said, "Well, you don't really know him." I said, "I don't know him any more than I know another man if I met him in church." And I'm gonna let somebody know where I'm going, and when I see him, I will write down his tag number and what have you, and I would text it to my friends. So you got to be very careful. It's a different time. It's a different time in the world today. Probably was always like that. It's just that we know more about different things that can happen to people because there have always been sick people. But I don't intend to. You're going to get old anyway, or I say seasoned. I'm going to be another year older or seasoned like wine next year. So I should be sitting around saying, "Oh, now I can't dress, I can't put on makeup, and I can't date." That's crazy. We're going to die anyway. The process is from birth to death. So in the middle of all of that, I call it, what is your dash? My dash is full of a lot of adventure, some good, some bad, but it's been a great lesson on this journey for me. And I just have never ever felt like I want to give up on living. And so I'll say yes to a lot of things because it's like an adventure. And I feel like I'm going to miss something. So I say to ladies of color, know that men of color are very fragile. We are survivors. We are the cradle that rocks the world. So we know that, but we don't always have to show that. Be very quiet about your abilities sometimes and let them step up and let them be men. Let them be men. Be surprised what you'll get on the end of them being men. And so I just say no, I can't sometime, or no, I want, or yes, I want that, and I need help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help to navigate in this crazy world we live in, and it's nice to share it with someone. I can't wait to wake up in the morning, and I say wake up in the morning in my bed with a body that looks like a man. There's nothing wrong with it. It's very healthy. It's very good for your hormones, your endorphins. It's just great. It's just great. I did a lot of dating in between marriages outside when I was younger, and I enjoyed it. One was I was in grad school. I dated my professor. He wanted to take it to another level. I just didn't. But I enjoyed it. And since I've been, I guess it's not really a date, more a friendship. Since I've been in this area, I have gone out several times with different race from the political arena, and I'm not boasting. They wanted to take it to another level. The chemistry wasn't there, and so that's another thing. If the chemistry's not there for Connie, in terms of me taking it to another level, I'm not doing that either. And we can be friends, and we can go to the movie, we can go to plays, we can go to football games. In fact, I met this. I have to share this because I was told this, and I thought, wow, by a lady of color. She must be 101 now. Never been married, but she said she had 4 men. She had a man for sex. She had a man for conversation. She had a man to take her to different functions, and she had a man to travel with. And she told me, I met her in Delaware. She said, "You need that kind of man." I think she's right. I do. Because I'm a type A personality. So sometimes I guess that's intimidating. That's intimidating. Hell, I intimidate myself sometimes. So I can imagine what I do to the opposite sex, and especially if they're very fragile. There's nothing like human being in someone else's space that you care about. There's nothing, I just can't imagine not being on this earth and not being in love. There's just nothing like it. Yeah. So, happy hunting.